Hello, everybody. James Teacher here, and I'm interviewing the wonderful, lovely Simone Teacher. So we've got some questions for her. The first part of the video will be questions for Simone Teacher, the kind of questions that parents might be interested in. For the kids, you should skip to about 15 minutes from now, 10 minutes from now, ignore everything now, and only watch those questions, because they'll be the really interesting questions for kids. But anyway, Simone, we've known each other for a few years now. You're like the founding teacher of Jool. Yes, amazing, right?
I think it's almost 4 years.
That was 4 years. Oh my goodness. And
Can you believe it?
And you're still smiling, which means that something must be right. I think it's the kids.
Yeah, they're great. The kids are great.
But my question, always like to ask this question first, is who is Simone Teacher, this teacher I've heard so much about, this person that everybody's talking about?
Well, I'm Simone Teacher. This is me.
Right, we'll move on to the next question.
Yeah, here I am. Well, I don't really know where to start. I've come quite a long way to become Simone Teacher, I guess. But I think it's all of my experiences, my whole journey brought me here, and I think I found something that I just love and I'm passionate about, and I think I do well as Simone Teacher. One of my favorite characters. Yes.
Yeah, I think you. I know for myself. I always talk to the kids, and they sometimes, really young kids in particular, think I'm really just called James Teacher, and I don't have an actual name. Like I was just in the hospital. We'll name this baby James Teacher, and then that's my persona. But it's a persona, teaching. So how would you describe your teaching persona? What kind of teacher are you? What do you like to be in the class, or what type of class do you like to have?
My class is a joyful class, an open class, what's the word? A humanizing class. I could say that. Humanize all my students. Everybody is there. Everybody's an individual. Everybody's opinion counts. Everybody's feelings count. It's not all like this and science and all that. It's also just like the experience of education, being in the class and being with other students. Sometimes I get a bit carried away and I talk too much, but I try to not talk too much. I want the kids to just be there and live in it and experience it and practice whatever we are learning, whatever the topic is. Yeah, I think that's
I always find this interesting, because I always think it's like the questions that nobody ever asks. You know what I mean? You never get asked these questions. I used to enjoy that. Doing that. Reflective. Yeah, it's very reflective. I used to do this with when I used to teach adult students some years ago. I used to ask them questions about, like, how do you feel when you look at a piece of art? And I remember this German guy who was like a Bosch Siemens, the company. He was an executive from Bosch Siemens, and he said, like, James, you know what? Nobody has ever asked me that. That's such a wonderful question to think about. So I hope I can ask questions at that level, or maybe I've declined since then. I don't know, but we'll see. Anyway, now my next question. Where have they gone? I've lost them. Here we are. What do you think the role of a teacher is in a class? You kind of touched upon this a little bit, that you want to humanize, which is a beautiful word to use, by the way. I wrote that down so I remember it. But to humanize kids and to empower them and be creative. But how about other things? What other responsibilities do you feel like you have as a teacher in a class?
Okay, yeah, as a teacher, I mean, you're sort of a guide, aren't you? You're a guide. You're guiding the students through whatever the topic is. You take them on some sort of journey. I quite like story and storytelling, so my things are usually story themed. But yeah, so you're a guide. You are there to help, to support, but you are also empowering them with your sort of traditional academic structure, especially in a language class. There are certain rules and ways to write, ways to speak, and to structure things. So it's partially academic structure, partially just motivation, inspiration, and inclusivity. That's the word I was looking for earlier. Just like being inclusive. Everybody is there and welcome, and every opinion counts. Yeah.
I think if everybody in the world has two things that they aim to do in life generally, to humanize people and to include people, then I think the world would be a wonderful place. Yeah, I think inclusivity, I think that's the kids always tease me, because when I teach a group class of 4 kids, I always have the gallery view on Zoom. So I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I hide myself. So I don't like check to make sure I'm not making any strange faces or anything. But I usually am. And then my eyes are like this. I literally go one to the, I'm just basically like this. I'm knackered by the end of the class, because, and the kid's like, why do you do that? What, just relax. Some of the kids said to me, just relax, James. He said to me the other day. And I was like, I can't, because I always have to pay attention to make sure everybody's paying attention and make sure everybody's involved. And if you're not, then I've got to change things up. So I'm always waiting. If somebody yawns, okay, everybody, right, we're going to jump in and break up, and then so that's yeah. Oh my goodness, the little boy needs some oxygen molecules. So my teacher used to say at school. Well,
amazing.
Thinking about, because actually that's something I remember when I was young, a teacher who said that to me. He was wonderful, Mr. Pallister. I'll never forget him. But what's something that you remember from one of your classes since you've been teaching for Jool? Something that you'll just always remember, like a memory you cherish.
Hard to choose. There have been so many incredible students in my classes with their own unique little quirks and incredible ideas. But one that sticks with me, and I think I've mentioned it before somewhere, is there was a girl. She was so shy. Right? She was just I think it took months for her to actually engage with us. But the thing that made her engage for the first time truly was she had pet worms. I don't know, maybe earthworms, something like that, red worms. And she brought them as part of the show and tell in the first 5 minutes of class. And then from there on, it was just like, hello, I'm here, I've arrived. You know?
Yeah.
That's just one thing that always stuck with me. Really incredible.
I think, well, that kind of comes back to what you mentioned actually about the inclusivity, because you don't get a chance. Like you have a passion. Maybe her only passion in life, literally her only passion, is earthworms, and then she never gets a chance to connect with people on an earthworm kind of subject level. So.
Yeah, it's amazing, and that's the humanizing pedagogy as well. That's what online classes make it so more easier to do it as well. I always bring my own stuff, my life, my dogs. Oh yeah, the cat's running over my head, or oh, let me grab that book and show you, or grab something from the fridge. This is what I ate today. Just relating it, and then they can do the same. It's a wonderful opportunity.
No, I think so. I mean, this is because I always think this is an interesting balance that I know I always try to kind of to navigate between being very demanding and having really high expectations, but also having a great time and a great laugh. And
yes.
I find that and also you mentioned about having somebody, and I always have Youngin teacher right next to me, because he is the best thing in the world when you have a class that's like, they're sick of me. Yeah, been there, seen that, got the t-shirt, and then suddenly he gives a speech about democracy or something, and it's like, oh right, okay, you get them back, and it's like you said, you're in your home, so they get to learn about you. I think they get to know who you really are as well, which is great. You can show yourself a bit more. Well, speaking of passions, which I mentioned a few seconds ago, what is your biggest passion at the moment in life?
At the moment, I think it would be my studies. I'm always studying something. And at the moment, I'm doing a PGCE, which is a postgrad certificate in education. It's like where you study basically. If you don't have a teaching degree, right, then you do this like a cap on. And doing that at the moment, it's incredible because I'm specializing in creative arts, which has opened this amazing new world to me, where we incorporate art, music, dance, drama into the classroom. And I've even used it in my Jool classes sometimes. I often bring a piece of art or an image or music into the class. And of course, there's always some drama. There's always some drama. We don't get a lot of chance to dance, but you know, every now and then we'll do it.
There's some time today, you know, it can happen.
Yes, I would say that's my biggest passion at the moment. And my gardening, I'm obsessed with my garden. I'm trying to start a vegetable garden at the moment. It's summer here in South Africa, so things are amazing. I'm pretty much obsessed with it. I wouldn't lie.
It's wonderful. I love gardening. I grew up surrounded by both my grandfathers were heavy duty gardeners and had allotments growing vegetables. I just find it the most pleasurable thing in the entire world, watching growth. Even actually, I have this plant right here, which is my favorite thing because this plant I think was this big about 10 years ago, and then I propagated it, and now there are 10 of them. And they're all massive. This is the smallest one, and it's just life before your very eyes, isn't it lovely? But yes,
it relates to teaching because you know the kids start out like teeny little sprouts in your class, and then in a few years' time, wow, you know, flowers, roses, trees, whatever.
Oh, I know.
You name it.
No, I know. I mean, that's actually something that's a huge thing because a lot of the kids I teach now, I've been teaching for 4 years, and they're now 6th grade, middle school. Even you teach Elsa, and she's suddenly she turned into a young woman. When did that happen? You know? Oh my goodness. But so those are actually they were really interesting questions, really interesting answers. I think it's because you're an interesting person. Parents, there you go. Very interesting introduction to Simone Teacher. But we're going to take a break, and then after the break, we're going to be answering some of the really juicy, wonderful, philosophical, disgusting questions from the kids. So we'll take a break. We'll pick our questions, and we'll be right back. Okay, right. So, Simone Teacher. So I've got. We'll edit it. No, Simone Teacher, I've got first question. This is from Yuan, and I can tell he was in 7th grade, history 7th grade, when he asked this question. Which historical figure would you like to see in a Marvel movie? Which is quite an interesting question. Which historical figure would you like to see in a Marvel movie?
Okay. Let me think. What about Gandhi?
Oh, okay.
That could be interesting because Gandhi, you know, his philosophy and his way of solving conflict was through ahimsa, which is something that I actually believe in as well. I have a bit of a yoga background. So to bring that into a Marvel would be, well, I guess they wouldn't make any money at the box office, but you know, it would be interesting to just bring peace. You know, let's just not fight. Let's just not fight at all. No violence at all.
Yeah, the Marvel movie. I mean, at the moment, they're not doing incredibly well, but so possibly actually something like that, like some kind of superpowered Gandhi would actually be an interesting divergence for the films. Who would I put in?
Non-violence.
Yes, everybody, let's just sit down and let's meditate. Let's relax. Let's do some yoga together.
I think they're not doing so well because of the self-awareness that they brought into the movies.
Yeah, I think so.
My characters like that.
I honestly think it's a bit like Harry Potter in a way. I feel like they did such a supreme job of creating this story arc from the first movie to the Avengers Infinity War, Endgame, and then Thanos died and all that kind of stuff, and then it's like I know myself, I watched all of them and I haven't watched a single movie since, because it was like that chapter of my life is over.
Exactly. I feel the same way. I tried the new Ant-Man one, and it was, oh my, no.
Something's off, right? Something's gone. I don't know what's happening. Historical figure, who would I put in there? I would put I put my grandfather in the Marvel movies. He was a mining man, which is funny because I'm so anti mining and all these kinds of things. And he would have been wonderful because he just used to eat toffees all day and smoke his pipe. And I just think that would be a really wonderful kind of character, just sitting there on his comfortable chair. He used to have a rocking chair with a pipe and smoking, eating toffees all day. just like, yeah, give over. That's all he used to do with his dog, his fat Labrador next to him. Anyway, right, next question. So that was Yuan. So thank you very much, Yuan. Logan in literature 2-3. When will the Earth disappear? So, sorry to drop this on you, but we have to be serious right now. When will the Earth disappear?
When will the Earth disappear? I think the Earth will disappear. What is it, about 5 billion years when the sun?
We're all going to be wiped out. Everything.
That's a bit of a boring answer. That's what they predict. But something else could happen. We could be sucked into a black hole or go through a wormhole and disappear from here. But we might end up somewhere else, somewhere incredible, some other celestial plane. I don't know where, but it could be interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Just all wake up in a different dimension. It's funny actually. I'm just the way my brain works, but I started thinking about a quote from one of the Avengers movies we just talked about, when Thor says, "Every word is made up." So that led me to think that when will Earth disappear? Well, Earth will disappear when humans are wiped out by our own hand from climate change, and the word Earth will essentially disappear because animals don't give a jot about Earth. This thing like being self-aware. I mean, Youngin Teacher's on the floor over there. He doesn't know what Earth is. He just cares about the basics and my poop is on the floor. Somebody should pick that up. I'm uncomfortable with that smell, and so exactly. I just think maybe Earth disappears when we're gone.
Our awareness that makes it exist. When our awareness ceases to exist, will it be gone? Will it? Is it just here because we know it's here?
Yeah, we invented, we categorized it with our lexicon. So Logan, there you go. That got very deep very quickly. But it's not going to blow up. It's not going to blow up in 4.5 billion years. There you go, Logan. There's the short answer. So do something quick. You won't even know. Right, my final question. Let me see. Oh no, why are people cannibals? No, we won't go there. Let me see. Okay, this is an interesting question. I think this is from Chloe. Possibly this is Chloe. No, I don't know. I think it's a different Chloe. Chloe asked, "What do Jool teachers do after they finish teaching?" Which is because this kind of thing of like, I think a lot of kids just assume that we sit here all day.
We just exist within this little square.
Box. Yeah.
All right. Well, I can't speak for everyone. I'm sure everybody has their own interesting things that they do.
But I just pick up poo all day. That's all I do. Youngin Teacher's the machine.
Yeah, I was just going to say, before class, I was picking up poo, but I haven't been because I have 2 dogs. One's a big dog, so the poos were quite big as well. So the territory. But anyway, so around my classes usually around 3:34 p.m. South African time, so that's the afternoon. And then all my 2 dogs and my cat, they come looking for me because now things need to happen. Now we need some action. We've been sleeping and waiting for you all day, listening to you talk to kids,
Yeah.
So we play a bit, and then the feeding, which is the most important.
Okay.
You can't be 10 minutes late, you can't. They just keep nagging and barking.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I do when I finish my classes. And then I usually just do some gardening, and then it's supper time. So, and then I just watch TV all night.
The day, I think, you know, because I think it depends. So when I'm in Korea, when I visit Korea and I teach, it's like late classes. Like I finish teaching at like 11:30 p.m. or something. But when I'm in the UK, for example, then it's a really different experience. But I do find that I crash. I always have a crash, a post-class crash, where I like, because I'm so up. The way I teach is I'm so enthusiastic all the time, and then my brain literally falls apart for about an hour. So my wife always kind of jokes that you just have to. It's almost like a sleeping bear on the ground. You just leave them and don't touch them or prod them or move them, because it's like I've just woken up from hibernation and I can't function for about an hour. I can't even have a conversation because I'm still thinking about all of the weird questions I asked and all of the fascinating conversations, you know?
Well, it's like an overstimulation, isn't it? My brain. I think that's why, you know, playing with the pets, feeding them, working in the garden, it sort of gets my senses back.
Yeah.
Because it is very stimulating. The classes are very stimulating. We always go really deep, really deep.
Well, I think I mean, for me actually it's actually paper. So strangely, because I try to be very sustainable. Actually, I was saying this to somebody the other day. I've never actually physically held a Jool workbook. So I've never had one in my hand. So I've written maybe about 100 Jool workbooks. I've never physically held one. And then the other day I was looking through some old books and I found an old book. I haven't even physically held an old book in about 4 years or something. It's The Martian. Anyway, did you see the movie with Matt Damon where he's stuck on Mars?
Yeah, I can't remember all the details. I remember the potatoes.
Yeah, the potatoes. Yeah, growing the potatoes and it's.
Oh, and when he went into the tunnels. Oh,
yes.
The tunnels, right?
Yeah. It's fascinating. So for me, the thing I do, if kids are wondering, because I might never answer this question again, if kids are wondering about me, I literally am the most boring person in the world when I stop teaching. I'm the most exciting person I try to be when I'm teaching. And then afterwards, I'm almost like a monk, like a mute monk, gardening, reading paper books or doing crosswords or taking younger teacher for a walk, exercising.
Balance. It's a balance. It's a balance.
That's it.
I'm also very energetic in the class, and then quite subdued in real life, although I'm a bit of a clown sometimes. So
yeah, no, it's just, although I'm getting a bit older now, so I can see elements of my dad emerging, Mr. Serious, Mr. Grumpy. So I'm trying to fight it, trying to fight back.
Yeah.
Claim my birthright. But anyway, so I hope that helps you guys to learn a little bit about the wonderful Simone Teacher. We will make another video soon with another wonderful Jool teacher. If you have any questions that you would like Simone to answer, then you can leave one in the comments below, and we'll try to make another video, or we'll write something on the blog, the Jool blog, about answering some of those questions. But thank you very much. So goodbye from me.
Bye. Thank you.